All right, I am here in the middle of nowhere, Nevada. Actually, there you go. It's called Golconda Summit, elevation 5,157 feet. Here in line with semis. So again, unfamiliar with this truck. I was driving and I saw what appeared. Well, I saw this and this light. Or indicator. Now I'm questioning myself if it wasn't on. The coolant temperature, engine temperature gauge has been pegged at the half point the entire time that I've been driving this thing for the last 2,000 miles basically. But I guess I haven't noticed this. And I think it would have, I'm not sure why that is more pronounced than all the other back gauges. I mean, like these ones that are in the back, you can see them. Like there's a battery one right there. There's a couple of them that obviously will come on, but I think that means, what was it? Engine coolant temperature warning. So as I was driving, I was looking at it and I found a place to pull over. And obviously engine coolant temperature warning, but the engine gauge is in the right spot. So I think it's just like the gas gauge where it's just an indicator. Like this is not the fuel low light. The fuel low light is actually right behind here. Or actually this will light up. Sorry, I think it lights up. Yeah, it comes on. So I think it was just an oversight on my part where I didn't notice this. And I noticed it and I was like, did it pop up and is it acting funny? But the gauge is still showing normal. Anyway, out of abundance of precaution, I pulled over, shut it off. You know, I've been cruising, enjoying the ride. Looked on the manual. Luckily, I have the service manual. A lot of people don't read their owner's manual. It's not a service manual, sorry. Owner's manual. A lot of people don't read their owner's manual. And initially, I was the person who did not read my owner's manual. But as I've gotten more into like working on my own cars and stuff, I have definitely saw value in reading this. There's a lot of stuff we don't know about vehicles that we own. And especially this, I mean, I'm learning as I go. It's definitely an experience. So a couple things, obviously I pulled over. Something I read also in the previous video, part 4, you saw me just walk in and I just cranked it. And luckily it started. It's like 40 degrees out. So I'm not sure what the temperature up here is. Higher elevation, still in a desert environment. It could be about 50 degrees or something, but it's a warm truck, so that should help out with a start. But it actually has an engine start procedure. And basically, I want to turn the key to the on position and wait for this little squiggly line, wait to start indicator goes out. It actually has a engine start procedure. I was just looking for the engine coolant stuff and I came across it. It even has an engine shutdown procedure at 349 to 337. 337. Yeah, it does have an engine start procedure, and the bulk of it goes over inspecting all the leaking fluids and stuff. But then this is where it gets into the meat of the potatoes. Apply the parking brake, turn the key switch to on, and then it activates the glow plugs and it eventually goes out, and the intake air heater, all that good stuff. And then you need to watch for the wait to start lamp on the dashboard to go off. Do not crank the engine until the lamp goes off. I definitely did that previously wrong, so key to note. And then everything, motors and stuff, they have a duty cycle. This thing here is definitely a duty cycle. Do not crank greater than 20 seconds, and then you need to wait for 2 to 3 minutes after you turn it off before you crank again. So in my line of professional work, knowing the operating procedures for what you're using is crucial. Obviously, I can't pull over in the sky, so I'm starting to apply that same concept to operating vehicles or anything, like knowing the procedures. You're not gonna know everything. Sometimes you're just gonna, run into a situation and you're gonna consult the manual. There's certain things that you need to know, like you always start the engine, so that's probably something that you should know, right? You don't have to know everything in here, but that's why you have the manual to look stuff up. But we'll go outside because I popped the engine, and there's a story behind this. So I was out here, actually, before I get to the front, this hood strut is hanging up on here right now. It's holding up, but unbeknownst to me, I saw this thing hanging down, and I thought it was some kind of drain. You've probably seen it in the previous videos, maybe. I don't know if you noticed. I didn't make mention of it, but it was hanging down. I thought it was some kind of drain because it has this orange piece at the bottom. But I think it's part of this hood strut. It was just hanging down. I'm glad it didn't fall off. Because it was just hanging down here, and obviously I've popped this hood before, and this strut is definitely blown out. It's no good. I mean, this thing is almost, I gotta clean that rust up. See if I can take these T20 or whatever it is off and clean that plate up and spray it so the rust can stop eating into it. I mean, I even got a wasp nest up here. Holy cow. But yeah, this is the engine. Got a lot of mott's, and I mean, these things are just gonna clog this thing, but it's fine. Yeah, so I looked on that side. The strut is bad. I figured I'd need to replace it. Then I came over here, and then I saw this was actually hanging down, and this was attached to it, and I literally just grabbed it and like took it off. So I'm glad it didn't like fall off, create FOD, and like, fly up under the engine or something or whatever. But this strut is clearly shot, but this piece was hanging, so I just stuck it in there, and it's holding this thing up. I don't really trust it, so I'm not gonna keep my head under it. I'll remember to grab this here in a second. But obviously the engine is hot. I do not want to remove the radiator cap. Plus I had a hard time getting it off anyway initially when I was taking the truck. But what I've been doing is, you can't really see it because it's slightly dirty, but I've been knocking it and I can see the fluid level. Full coal is right here. And I can see when I knock it, it's like right here. I can see the fluid in there. So I'm confident that it has fluid in there, and I don't see any active leaks under there. I'm gonna power wash this engine obviously at some point. Yeah, I don't see any active leaks. So I think I just might have spotted something on my journey, and it triggered me to stop. Anyway, this is what Golconda Summit looks like. So we'll button up and we'll get to driving. I don't think it's anything. I think that's just how it's displayed. There's absolutely nothing out here. It's actually probably 40 degrees out. So we'll leave this up here. I mean, we're learning about a lot of stuff as we drive here. So we'll do a hot start. We'll crank the engine in and we'll go outside and just look at it running. So it says to turn it to the on position. Let's see if we can set up shop right here. So I'm just gonna turn it to the center position there, and looking for the light. The light is right there. That's our little light. Pretty sure that's the light that the manual calls for. All right. Actually, it has the start. Starting your diesel engine, section 1. Your diesel engine starting procedures are different than a gasoline engine. Did not know that. Preparing to start an engine. Your vehicle has a fast warm-up glow plug system. The way to start light will illuminate for a considerably shorter time than most diesel engine due to the rapid heating of the glow plug system. There are 3 steps to start in this vehicle's engine. I took that step down to 1 earlier. Starting your engine. Set the transmission for start in first. How do you do that? Put it in park. That's what it means. So column shifter selector or remote shifter, move your shift bar to park or neutral. Your engine will not start in any other position. This is a safety feature. To restart when you are already moving, use neutral. I guess if you were like, in Jamaica we call it juke start. Someone pushes it and you have it in neutral, obviously. Call it a juke start. Yep. Push button selector. I definitely don't have a push button. Ensure park is selected by verifying that P is indicated on the display. If not, press the I think it's talking about the parking brake. All right, yeah, the only P that I see displayed on the dash here is the parking brake. Yeah, like right here. But I have that thing zip tied. I'm not gonna break it right now, so I guess I'm gonna avoid this procedure slightly, if that's what it's talking about. But it's talking about park, not the parking brake. Second, turn your ignition to run. Wait for the start indicator lamp. This light may come on if the engine is hot. Oh, it might not come on, so the engine is definitely hot. Turn your ignition key to run. Observe the wait to start indicator lamp. This light may not come on if the engine is hot. If the wait to start indicator lamp stays illuminated, it means that the vehicle could have a problem. It should be serviced soon. Third, as soon as the wait to indicator light goes off, turn the key to crank. When the engine starts, release the key. And this one actually says if the engine fails to start after 15 seconds of cranking, turn the ignition off and wait 1 minute for the starter to cool, then try again. So it's slightly different from that procedure. I showed it in a more expanded version. Anyway, it's not a cold start, but I should have done this cold weather starting procedures. Actually, it's not cold weather. It's definitely, yeah, it's like, it's definitely not minus 18, or it's definitely not 0 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm definitely not in Alaska. Anyway, we're just having fun learning. So I'm not expecting this light to come on right here because the engine is already warm. So let's see if that light actually comes on. And we'll watch all the lights to include that temperature light. So if I can keep this thing steady. Right here, all right, let's see. Ah, there we go. It came on and it went out. So we can crank. Hell yeah. So, watch for the light. Yeah, I didn't really see anything crazy about this. Obviously, the temperature is warm. Take my seatbelt off when I'm driving to reach in my pocket and that light does not flash, but it starts up on startup. I don't know. It has daylight running lights. Can't really see it on the truck in front of me because the sun is now coming up from the east behind me, so it's a huge bird. All right, let's go outside real quick. I don't want to stay here too long. I mean, she sounds healthy. I think I'm just like over curious about what's going on with this thing. I don't know a whole lot, but I know that I don't know what this is actually. I know this is your .3 brake fluid, your coolant, and this is probably your washer fluid. It has 2 batteries, one right here and one around there. Yeah. I think we're good to go. So this hood strut does not work, so the video is gonna get kind of shaky as I'm gonna use my elbow, my wrist to hold this up and reach back, and that thing is gonna drop down. See, it's just hanging right there. Yeah. No bueno. So actually, I mean, that's kind of sketchy. I mean, that could make contact with a tire. So I could. We're gonna try to keep that in the up position. I'm probably gonna zip tie it. But this hood, I mean, it does not want to stay up. Like, I mean, luckily that thing is shot, so it just stays up, but that was just hanging down. Oh, there we go. So it should stay up once I close this thing. Let's see. Yeah, it should stay up. So I'm gonna close this thing so it doesn't fall down. Yeah, it looks like it's good. It should stay up now. Don't do that with a customer's vehicle. We'll try to engage these little latches. The next one on the opposite side is broken off. Thought it was cracking right here, but it's good. I mean, it's cracking, but it's still good. Yeah, I was wondering why that thing was hanging down. I thought it was some kind of like drain, which was strange that it would have been right in front of the tire. So then we'll just pull on this, and yeah, give it a tug. Since we're out here, we'll just walk around, make sure this thing is still good to go. Yeah, so just giving it a quick once over. We are always go back to where you started and make sure everything is good to go. But I think I was just overreacting here. Yeah, I think that's just normal. We'll put some daylight running lights on. I can see it on the truck. It's daylight out, so I'll just put the daylight running lights. Yeah, I think we're back in business. I need to use the rest stop, and it's not for the next 42 miles. I'm pretty sure someone has been creative before, so I'm not saying I'm gonna stand there, but I'm saying I'm gonna stand right there. Yeah, she sounds good. Hopefully she acts good. Anyway, that's what I was like on editing, and read your manual.